This is the 2013 horror movie Under the Skin, and this specific scene is one of, to me, the most terrifying moments in movie history. So much so that even after watching it multiple times, I still get the urge to turn the movie off. Some light spoilers are coming. Under the Skin was directed by Jonathan Glazer, who is most recently known for his unnerving portrayal of the Holocaust in his 2023 film The Zone of Interest. And as anyone who has seen it can attest to, he is a master at making you feel uncomfortable. This has been a hallmark of his style going all the way back to his feature debut, Sexy Beast, which has some of the most tense character interactions ever put to screen. And even his follow-up, the very flawed psychological thriller Birth, does not fail to disturb when it needs to. But it is his third movie, Under the Skin, which to me is his most hard to watch. And I could mention multiple points in the movie that make my skin crawl, but it is this one simple scenario that tops everything else the film throws at you. Under the Skin revolves around an unnamed alien played by Scarlett Johansson, who for reasons that are never fully expanded upon, lures in unsuspecting men to a secluded house, where they are either being studied or harvested. The scene in question comes early on, when during one of the alien's hunts, she stops by a beach, intending to seduce a Czech tourist who is swimming there, but her hunt is interrupted by an incident, which makes for one of the most uncomfortable 5 minutes in film history. The first couple of shots of this scene introduces the key players, opening on a dog jumping into the ocean, then cutting to its owners, a man and a woman, who are there with their child. We then cut over to the alien, establishing her as the eyes through which we will experience this scene. The camera then pans across the beach and towards the ocean, revealing the final character, the Czech tourist. What happens next is much the same as what we've seen throughout the film. The alien flirts with the man, intending to take him away to the secluded house we've seen her take her other victims. But this pattern is interrupted when some cries are heard in the distance, after which both the alien and the tourist look to see the man leave his son to run towards the ocean. In the next cut, it is revealed that the woman is swimming after her dog, who is being carried away by the waves. The tourist goes in after them, managing to carry the man back to land, all while the alien looks on dispassionately. What little hope can be gleaned is snuffed out when the man swims back into the ocean to go after his wife, and the tourist is too exhausted to save him again, leaving him exposed and easy for the alien to knock him out for collection. And just when the scene could not get darker, we see the probably drowned couple's son in the background, as the alien drags away her victim, his wails not even catching the alien's attention. In a later scene, the filmmakers manage to twist the knife they've placed in you even further by showing the alien's companion, a man whose purpose seems to be to clean up after the alien, who goes to the beach to dispose of the tourist's belongings, where we see the child is still there, alone and abandoned and crying, only to be left once again. Now, the contents of this scene are disturbing enough, but the particulars of how it was executed is what makes it truly horrifying. First off is the camera work. According to the film's director of photography, Daniel Landon, they wanted the cinematography to be objective. This was to match the alien's outlook, to give the audience an idea of how she perceived us. Because of that, throughout the entire beach scene, we are seeing the events through her eyes, as is made quite obvious by the distance with which we see much of the scene, the multiple cuts to her staring, and the camera moving along with her as she shifts her gaze. This gives the scene a very dispassionate style, as the alien is totally unaffected by what she sees, which is especially effective in many of the wide shots of the family, whose faces we never get a clear view of, except for the young boy at the end, which is supposed to show how the plight of the dog and its owners are beneath her concern, whereas the tourist gets a medium close-up due to being the alien's target. This makes what happens all the more effective, as we get an additional shock by the alien's lack of a reaction to a scenario which would lead most people to act similar to the tourist. We would at the very least call for rescue, and most would definitely make sure the young boy was taken care of. And I think the filmmakers rely on this instinct to terrify us, not just by showing us people in need, but also by trapping us in the perspective of an emotionless alien that cares nothing about them, hence forcing us to watch on as the dog and its owners drown, and the kid is left helpless and alone. Which brings me to the whole point of this scene, which according to traditional screenwriting rules is kind of pointless. None of these people ever come into play again, and we already have seen what the alien does to its victims. This scene could be cut with little to no effect on the greater story, but it is essential when it comes to establishing character, as this scene, more than any other, gives us an idea of the alien's morality, or lack thereof. It is thanks to what happens here that we understand more than in any other part of this film just how ruthless and dispassionate our main character is. A cold-blooded predator, with no other concern than whatever her mission is, Even something as simple as just calling an ambulance to make sure that this child makes it out alive, which makes the later parts of the film where she becomes or tries to become more human, all the more effective. I would like to remark upon Scarlett Johansson's acting here as well, as it is essential to conveying this characterization. In much of the film she is subtly flirtatious or totally unemotional, but for the few frames of her facial expressions we see in this scene, there is something cold-blooded in the way she looks at the people around her. To me, she looks as if she's calculating the most efficient way to catch her prey, acting like a predator in waiting. There is one final point I would like to make, which is why this scene is particularly terrifying to me. You see, I have intense thalassophobia, so much so that just standing near the ocean causes me anxiety, and I also have a particular fear of riptides. So seeing not just a dog getting dragged off and drowned, but also two people, triggers me with extensive secondhand thalassophobia. And that is why this, to me, is one of the most terrifying scenes in movie history. A combination of effective and dispassionate cinematography that gives us a glimpse into the cold-blooded mind of our alien main character, the instinctual empathy we feel for the people in danger, some subtle and brilliant acting, and the fact that it triggers almost all of my deepest fears. It's a scene that I always dread upon every rewatch, but that makes it all the more rewarding when I watch the entire film through. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe for more like it. And I would also like to know what to you is the most terrifying scene in film history.